Kazakhstan is one of the most multicultural countries in the world, consisting of representatives of more than 130 ethnic groups and nationalities. Each ethnicity has unique traditions, fantastic holidays, and fascinating history, as well as amazing recipes. Recipes for kindness and peace, and respect for our ancestors and other people's culture. This is Recipe for Friendship. Hello, this is Recipe for Friendship, and my name is Alevtina Madyarova. Today I want you to get acquainted with a culture that I sincerely adore, its cuisines and songs, its dances, and of course its people. Today, Kazakhstani Georgians are the focus of our program. So, what are we going to see today? There is no Georgian culture without a Georgian feast table. And we start from the fact that on the Georgian table, most meals are eaten cold, because Georgian feasts last for more than 1 or 2 hours. And of course, a feast always runs together with a song. And don't forget about dancing. And of course, the story of migrants who fell in love with Kazakhstan, but still remain Georgian. Lali Kupeniya and Kakha Gavilashvili are a married couple. Today, he teaches at the Academy of Business, and she is a gastroenterologist. Today, Kakha and Lali are heroes of the Recipe for Friendship. Well, I can tell you that I moved here a long time ago, during the Soviet era. My father worked here in Rudny. He worked at a construction company. Lali moved to Karaganda after school, where she was admitted to the medical university. I said, you know, I'll go anywhere to get an education. I'll go with you. I really like the people of Kazakhstan because they are very much like Georgians. Some of our customs are similar. For example, hospitality and respect for parents. We have these too. Kakha, as well as Lali, are mature people with their own experiences, mistakes, and conclusions. When I was married, I didn't pay attention to other women. But when you're free, you look around and you start to notice things. Our first date was very interesting. It was a passionate relationship that made minds blow. These are appropriate for young people. The relationships between mature people have their own special value and charm. Well, it didn't happen immediately. On the first or second date, we had been communicating and dating for almost a year. Then we decided that we had the same views of life, the same temper and nature, and moreover, our families fit each other. She has a grown daughter and my son is also a grown man. We decided that we would take care of each other, and about ourselves too. I got divorced in 1995 and I was single for a very long time. Once I realized that I had to do something with that, because my daughter had her own family, and I've got a grandson, but my life goes on. And I thought that I have to deal with this problem. So I went to Georgia, and that's where I met him. This young and at the same time mature couple now lives in Almaty. And respecting the local traditions and customs, they certainly do not forget their roots. Well, if we believe the Georgian chronology, we can see that the countdown began approximately 5,400 years ago. Because I bet you've heard about the Argonauts, Jason. They came to Georgia for the Golden Fleece. It was 2,000 years BC. And that means it began at least 3,000 years ago. They came across the Black Sea by the Roni River, and they reached Kutaisi. And there was a history with the Golden Fleece. Georgians cherish their history. It seems like any of them can speak about their origins, their writing and language. Georgian writing is very ancient. It is one of the world's 14 ancient scripts, such as Arabic, Latin, Cyrillic, and so on. Georgians stand out. It is not similar to any writing. If, for example, we can compare Cyrillic and Latin, they have many letters in common. But Georgian letters are very different from all of them. Georgian speech is also very unusual. Of course, some modern words can be recognized, but generally they differ. The race type is also different from others. Georgians are related to the Iberian Caucasian race. It is a separate race. Maybe Georgians can be considered the members of a special race, but what can be no doubt is that they are able to get in touch with anyone, literally. Sociability and hospitality are in their blood. Loneliness is the worst thing that can happen to a human being, according to my experience. Georgians rarely spend time alone. For example, I never drink alone. I've always got a wine cellar, for example, and half a ton of wine or 100 liters of vodka. But I've never thought about drinking alone. While having lunch or just without any reason. I usually call my friends so that we can sit and talk. I don't think that loneliness is in a Georgian culture. It definitely isn't, because we are very sociable. We love having guests, so loneliness is a very unusual thing for us. And since we've started talking about feasts, let's start exploring some Georgian cuisine. Of course, according to the rules of Georgian friendliness, it suggests another acquaintance. Tamuna and Gora have lived in Almaty for 3 years and managed to get a respectable number of friends. They love bishbarmak, plov, and baursak, but they haven't forgotten how to cook hachipuri. Today, we will prepare the delicious Georgian meal. But according to what you said, we are going to set a real feast table. Georgians rarely cook only hachipuri. This evening, we are gathered together to prepare hachipuri and to make sure that everything will be excellent. So we've invited another guest, Ira. She is a neighbor of Tamuna. Ira can cook anything, and she really loves it, and her meal is really delicious. So we didn't only cook hachipuri, but the three of us have managed to set a magic tablecloth, supra. It is necessary to start from the fact that most meals on a Georgian feast table are eaten cold. Because Georgian feasts last for more than 1 or 2 hours. I thought you were going to say 1 or 2 days. Of course, there are some dishes which are considered a main course, but the rest of the meals are adapted for long-lasting dinners. Such festive dinners called supra, which mean tablecloth. And I think that it is a very important word to remember, because supra is an integral part of the life of any Georgian. Nadugi is a traditional snack that can be adjusted to the main course, or you can simply spread it on a piece of bread. It is made of boiled whey and sweet cheese products, which is flavored with fresh mint. It is possible to prepare nadugi with curded cheese from the supermarket. This is life hacking by Tamuna. This is a cold appetizer that can be smeared on bread or on hot machadi. We will demonstrate it quite soon. The corn tortillas machadi. This dish is very simple to prepare, and it's satisfying and authentic. In fact, all that you need is corn flour, water, and cooking oil. Just the last time I was in Georgia, I was given a certain amount of corn flour, and now I know what to do with it. You do rounded ones so we can distinguish them. Do you think that if you made the dough and we sculpted in different ways, that they are going to taste differently? Finally, my favorite snack, pikali. Preparing pikali is quite a time-consuming thing, but it's easy too. It's made of milled walnuts which are mixed with chopped spinach, beet tops, cabbage, or leek, and that depends on your preference. Also, a very popular option for pikali is with grilled eggplant. Now I've got boiled spinach and we're going to make the Georgian dish pikali. Now we squeeze really hard with your fist. Of course, you can use a meat grinder, but this way is certainly much more tasty. And it's considered more high class when everything is cut and chopped. Well, let's make it high class then. Let's cut and chop. My entire life now has been split into before and after. It will never be the same again because now I've mastered the cooking of one of my most favorite dishes. Generally, walnuts are often used in Georgian cuisine. They are used to make bhaji sauce, which is an irreplaceable thing for baked or fried chicken. It is quite challenging to make it. It requires a special skill and a qualified master. For me, it is Ira. Don't push these nuts too hard. Here, the warmth of your hands. And especially if these nuts are of a high quality, the oil will start to come out in 5 minutes approximately. You're kneading it too intensively. You're supposed to squeeze it. Now, see here how the oil comes out? Correctly pressed nut oil looks nice when the finished dish is served. I didn't manage to do it the first time, but I've got the best teachers, Tamuna and Ira. So the sauce consists of walnuts that are pressed until the oil comes out, 3 or 4 garlic cloves, of course, and coriander, ucho suneli, and all of these sufficiently large amounts with a small amount of salt, yellow flour, or how it's also called, imereti saffron, and red pepper. Finally, hachipuri. What is a Georgian table without it? Hacho means cottage cheese in Georgian, and puri means bread. It is different in each region of Georgia. Anjarian variants are the long and tiny boat, and the raw egg, which is added into it before serving. Mergelian is famous for the double cheese portion, inside and outside. There are already 6 meals on the table. Now let's start the tradition alone. The base is ready. Half of the ingredients are already here. It will be hachapuri. This time we prepared 2 types of hachapuri, imereti and mingrelian. The dough is the same for both of them, a buttery yeasty dough, which became ready in a warm place. And now it is nice and lush. Soft cottage cheese is inside. I was trusted to do it by myself, and I hope that everything will be okay. It may seem that we've been cooking for a whole day, but in fact it's only been a couple of hours. And finally, supra is ready. It is how the Georgian feasts are made. These women say that it is not enough, that they could have cooked more than that. Nadugi, pikali, mechadi, baji, imereti hachipuri, mingrelian hachipuri. It is only necessary to say one phrase. Lisa, please teach me how to say enjoy your meal in Georgian. There is no doubt that the feast table is an integral part of Georgian life. Someone may think that these dishes are too high calorie, but Georgians don't set such tables every day. People often say that Georgian food is harmful to the health because of the calories and fats and so on. Yes, it is spicy and fatty. Satsivi, hachipuri are very high-calorie meals. But it's going to get boring if the entire world will eat only McDonald's or other kinds of fast food. The large number of vegetables and herbs and good company, all of that matters too. Food is not the final aim, it's just a way of expressing nature. Sometimes people say that a Georgian man can set a rich table for his guests, and after it, he's going to starve for a month. But the truth is that the Georgian people love having guests, and they think that God sends guests to them. We don't praise ourselves. We don't have an intention to show off. It's just our nature, our inner nature. And don't forget about dancing. Energetic, passionate, and fiery Caucasian dances can ignite the fire of any soul. We've already been shown different types of Lezginka. Today, the Caucus Ensemble will show us a dance in which the women's part is also bright and energetic. It doesn't include just graceful hand-waving. There are many kinds of Georgian dances: Shalacho, Kartuli, Uzandara, Lezginka, which is known to anyone. And despite the fact that Georgia occupies a small territory, its regions are different to each other. For example, the suits that we can see on girls are more likely to be clothes of Tusheti, a mountainous area in the northeast of Georgia. The warm knitted boots, plain black shawls which are typical for mountaineers. Of course, outfits like these can rarely be seen nowadays, but the imagination immediately starts to show you pictures of a mountain range, mighty walls, and newly ripened grapes. There is a myth about Georgia. Georgia is a land that belonged to God. And when he distributed the lands among different people, Georgians were late because, as always, they had their feasts and sang their songs. So they came late and everything was already divided. So God said that he gave everything away. They said that they were drinking toasts in the name of God. So God gave them the land which he had left for himself. Everything in Georgian culture sounds and looks like a beautiful legend. Everything is filled with friendliness, the love of life, and a sense of humor. Probably that's why almost every citizen of Kazakhstan has a Georgian friend. That's why all of us know Georgian food such as hinkali and hachipuri, and there's no doubt that for the same reason, we love to gather and sing popular Georgian songs. I can't wait to see all of you again in the next episode of Recipe for Friendship. This is Alevtina Madyarova.
Patskali